सहना भवतु सहनो भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ नमः शिवाय ॐ नमः शिवाय। 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 ॐ नमः शिवाय। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। समस्तजनकल्याणे करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। ॐ नमो भगवते वैवस्वताय मृत्यवे Brahma Vidya Charyaya Nachiketase cha. The second chapter in the fourth valli begins with a criticism of extrovertedness. Extrovertedness is criticized because in extrovertedness we apply the outgoing extroverted sense organs. And the problem with the sense organs is they don't give us the right knowledge. They give us only a distorted version. So poetically in this valli it is said, the Lord has killed the sense organs. So therefore what should we do? So the valli says, the Upanishad says, going out is not the way to gain knowledge. Going in is the way to gain knowledge. Avritta chakshuhu. Go within. Know who you are. If you gain the knowledge of the self, the mystery of this creation will be solved. Otherwise, this world is a very complicated, complex world. The world is complex, the body is complex, the mind is complex, everything is complex. So a person who looks out will only be confused. So how to solve this cosmic puzzle? The way is to look within. But looking within means what? So the solution given here is pay attention to that consciousness in you. Even while interacting with the world, pay attention to this consciousness. This consciousness should be paid attention because this is the sum and substance of everything. It is the ultimate reality. How to know this? Observe your experience. Observe your dream experience. Observe your waking experience. Swapnantam jagaritantam cha ubhau yena anupashyati. It is this consciousness we find. It is there in the dream state. It is there in the waking state. So the very fact that this consciousness continues in dream and waking shows that this consciousness alone is real. Because the definition of reality is abadhyatvam satyatvam. What is reality according to Vedanta? That which cannot be negated, that which cannot be denied, that which doesn't come and go, that which is always there. This is the definition of reality. That which comes and goes is an illusion. That which remains ever is real. So observe your own experience. What do you observe? Consciousness is there in dream state. Consciousness is there in waking state. There is nothing which is common in dream and waking except consciousness. So therefore, we will have to conclude that this consciousness is the only reality. Mahantam vibhum atmanam. This Atma is all-pervading. It is great. It is a very substratum. So then what is this waking world, waking state, etc.? It is just a projection of the mind. Just like the movie is projected on the screen, The movie is not real. The screen alone is real. Even when you are watching the movie, you are actually watching the real screen. The screen alone is giving existence to the movie. In the same way, it is consciousness which is giving existence to the different states of the mind. The waking state, dream state, deep sleep state, they are all different states of the mind. The one which gives reality to these states is consciousness. The one which is the substratum is consciousness. Pay attention to this reality in you. Right. Pay close attention. Ya imam madhvadam veda atmanam jivam antikat. This Atma, this self, this I which you are experiencing every moment, antikat, pay close attention. Observe it closely. Who is this I? Who is this Atma? Every moment we are using this term I. Who is this? Find out. Do self-inquiry. This Atma which appears to be Madhvadam, Bhokta, Karta, Bhokta in this world. Who is this? Then you will find it is Ishanam Bhuta Bhavyasya. It is the Lord of past, present and future. It is the Lord of time. It is immortal. So then a question may come, fine, I understand this consciousness is immortal in me, the real in me, etc. But I am seeing a world. Who is the Lord of this world? So then the verse says, the Lord of this world also is the very same consciousness. This world which is so beautifully created, so perfectly created by the austerity of knowledge, by this tapas, this world of 5 elements. Know him. Where is he? Guham pravishyatishtantam. That Saguna Brahman, that Hiranyagarbha, the Lord of the universe. Where to find him? Where to find him? The president can be found in presidential palace. Prime Minister can be found in Prime Minister's office. Where to find the Lord of this universe? In the temples, in the churches, in the mosques? No. Guham pravishyatishtantam. You can directly experience him. You can have his vision. Where? In your own guha. In the cave of your heart. And that is why looking within is important. Do you want to see him? Do you want to experience him? Then you have to look within, into the heart. There he is there. Tishtantam. He is residing there. Bhute bhihi tishtantam. Surrounded by the bhutas, the 5 elements. In this very same body, in one's own heart, in the core of one's being, in the center of one's existence, you can find him. Etat vaitat. This indeed is that. Right. The same thought flow is taken up in the next verse also, verse number 7. Ya pranena sambhavati aditir devatamai guham pravishyatishtantim ya bhutebhirvyajayata etat vaitat ya pranena sambhavati aditir devatamai guham pravishyatishtantim ya bhutebhirvyajayata etat vaitat. Ya, that consciousness Now, interestingly, you will find in verse number 6, it was said Yaha. It is masculine, pulling. In verse number 7, it is said Ya. It is striling. So, what does it mean? This consciousness is beyond gender. So, he or she. Don't worry about all this gender nonsense. Ya. That Lord. Pranena sambhavati. Is born as prana. This prana is another name for Hiranyagarbha, another name for Saguna Brahma. So what is Saguna Brahma? The pure consciousness, when he plays the role of creator, sustainer, destroyer, that pure consciousness, that Nirguna Brahma is called Saguna Brahma. That Saguna Brahma. That Saguna Brahma's another name is Prana. And another name is Aditi. So Aditi is a feminine name. So therefore the term Ya, feminine. Aditi. So what is Aditi? Nadiyate, khandyate, badhyate, brihatvat iti Aditi. That which cannot be khandyate, broken. Badhyate, that which cannot be bound. That which has no limit. Why? Brihatvat, because it is infinite. That is called as Aditi. The one without limits. Aditi. Maybe in the Puranas, they have this story, who is Aditi in Puranas? Aditi is the mother of all gods, isn't it? All devatas. You see, Aditihi devata mai. So this has come in the Upanishad. So now the Puranas made a beautiful story out of this. Aditi is taken as mother. Why mother? Because it's feminine. So all the stories of Puranas, you will find that its source is Upanishad only. So the truth is beautifully portrayed in a story form. That is Puranas. Aditi. It is Devatamai. This Lord is Devatamai. Mayam means full of. Full of that. Mai. It is full of Devatas. Means what? Now we have to understand. In the scriptures, whenever we talk of Devatas, in this modern context, with our logical thinking, we will have to give a new explanation for these terms. Who is a Devata? So, Devata is nothing but the laws governing the universe. The whole world functions based on laws. LAWS, laws. So, a Devata means laws concerning that particular entity. So, Surya Devata means what? Laws concerning Surya will be Surya Devata. So, Chandra Devata, Varuna Devata, Agni Devata, Vayu Devata. So, that Devata is concerned with the laws. So, this is the way we have to understand. So, Devata Mai. So, who is that Lord who has created this world? He is that Lord who has created the laws and who is administering these laws. That is the meaning here. Devatamai. The whole cosmos is functioning based on certain laws. So what do the scientists do in this world? They don't create laws, they only study the laws. The scientists, they study the laws and then they invent devices, these devices which follow these laws and bless the humanity and make life comfortable. This is what they do. So research means what? Studying the laws of the world is called research. You are not inventing something new. It is already there. Actually, everything is only discovery. It was there. You came to know of it when you start paying attention to it. That's all. So, this world which is full of these laws, that's the meaning Devatamai. So that Lord who is identified with the total cosmos and who has brought out these laws and who is administering these laws, this Supreme Lord, where is He? Guham pravishya tishthantim. Once again it is repeated in the next mantra. That Lord is seated in the heart. Ya bhutebhihi vyajayata. In the earlier verse it is said vyapashyata. In this verse it is said vyajayata. Vyapashyata means the one who sees. So, the one who sees that Supreme Lord, the creator of the cosmos, in one's own heart, as one's own consciousness, he alone sees. Yapashyati sapashyati. The one who understands. This way, he alone sees. Meaning, his knowledge alone is true knowledge. The one who sees that God is different and I am different, he doesn't see. That very same consciousness which is running the whole cosmos, the very same consciousness which is my true nature, the one who sees thus, he alone sees. Right, now comes a beautiful verse on sadhana. How careful, alert, vigilant a sadhaka must be in practicing this spiritual knowledge. This is the topic of the next verse. A verse on sadhana. Verse number 8. Aranyornihito jata vedaha Garbha iva subhruto garbhinibhihi Dive diva idyo jagravadbhihi Havishmadbhir manushebhiragnihi Etat vaitat Aranyornihito jata vedaha Garbha iva subhruto garbhinibhihi Dive diva idyo jagravadbhihi Havishmadbhir manushebhiragnihi Vaitat. Yes. So now, this verse is addressed to a spiritual seeker. Especially for a beginner. So in the beginning, when we walk this path of spirituality, how he should be careful. So he should be careful like Garbha iva subhruto garbhinibhihi. Garbhini. Who is a garbhini? A pregnant woman. So how a pregnant woman is, protecting subhrutaha, her garbha, the child in the womb. How she is careful. In that way, a spiritual seeker must also carefully nourish that spiritual knowledge in him, the spiritual samskaras in him. So what do we find in a pregnant woman? She has to be very careful. So this child in the womb is compared with the spiritual knowledge in us. Right. So this pregnant woman, when she is carrying the child, she may be interacting with the world, with the relatives, with the in-laws and all those people. She may be working in the kitchen also. But one part of the mind is always paying attention to the baby within, isn't it? In the same way, how we should live our life? Yes, you are all transacting with the world, applying the sense organs, but one part of the mind, where is it? It is paying attention to the consciousness. This is what is called as God remembrance. Let one part of the mind be active in performing the duties and responsibilities, but let one other part of the mind be ever remembering the spiritual essence in us, the consciousness in us. Yes, whatever I am doing, all these are happening in the light of consciousness. That consciousness is God. That consciousness is not only my Lord, it is a Lord of the universe also. With this great reverence and devotion, may you always remember this. Just like that pregnant woman is constantly aware of the presence of the baby inside. See, the mind has this ability. The mind has, no, don't think that mind can think only one thing at a time. No, it has this ability. On one side, worldly things are taken care. On the other side, constantly the mind is thinking of this. You see? Make use of this ability of the mind. So it is not necessary that you have to give up everything and sit quietly to meditate. No. Do that also. But throughout the day, never forget this goal. I have come to this world for a purpose. And that purpose is liberation. And for that I have to intensify the spiritual samskaras in me. These spiritual samskaras can be intensified only if I now and then, again and again, time and again, remember this spiritual essence in me. A samskara has to be created. A habit has to be generated. To create a habit, I have to put forth repeated practice. Today the self-forgetfulness has become natural because I have habitually ignored the self in me. Now self-remembrance has to become natural. How can it be made natural? By habitually remembering this essence. It should become a habit. Like the Garbhini remembering her Garbha. Also, Garbhini has to take care of the food, isn't it? She can't eat whatever she gets. She has to be very careful. The food she takes, she has to be careful. Yuktahara viharasya yukta cheshtasya karmasu. Yukta swapnava bodhasya yogo bhavati dukkha. So she has to take care of the food she eats. She will have to take care of the sleep. Right time she has to sleep. She will have to take care of the body positions also. She can't just sit down and lie down. Isn't it? In the same way, yogi also. What he eats, how many times he eats, how much he eats, everything has to be taken care. Yukta ahara has to be there. So sattvic food taken moderately, then yogo bhavati dukkha. Then the body will cooperate with you in your spiritual sadhana. Right? Sleep also. It's very essential. Food and sleep. Natyasnatastu yogosti nachaikantam anasnataha. Bhagavan says yoga is not for the person who eats too much or too little, or sleeps too much or sleeps too little. Yoga is not for that person. So just like that Garbhini takes care of her food, sleep, etc., a yogi also will have to take care of the food, sleep. Meaning the well-being of the body. The next is the well-being of the mind, the emotional well-being. A Garbhini has to take care of all that. Too much of stress and worry and anxiety. It is said that all those negative emotions will affect the child. So she should be careful from all these negative mood swings. Yogi also has to do the same thing. He will have to take care of the mind. It is with the mind that all sadhana has to be done. So the mind has to be kept sattvic. The mind has to be kept pure by entertaining divine, noble thoughts. He has to be very careful while dealing with the world. Anything which pollutes the mind, he should not expose himself to that. Bhadram karnebi shrunuyama, bhadram pashyema akshabhirya jatra. Then your mind also will be pure. Entertain only noble divine thoughts. So he has to be very, very careful, because in this world everything is there. Good is there, bad is there. So that yogi should live like that Garbhini. Right? Again, that Garbhini has to be very, very patient, because 9 months she will have to wait. Nothing happens all of a sudden. There is a waiting. So, patience is necessary. In the same way in spirituality also, patience is necessary. When you are cultivating each and every virtue of life, when you are trying to eradicate all the vices of life, Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya, it will not just go away. You have to patiently work on it. Again and again, patiently, consistently, perseveringly, not giving up hope. Again and again you will fail, but again patiently you have to work. So that patience which a Garbhini is needed, yogi also must have patience. In fact, much more patience. Garbhini's job is over in 9 months. For us, lifelong patience is necessary. See, what a beautiful example is given. You see, what only it is said, Garbhaiva Subrto Garbhini. Now you have to do Mananam. Upanishad just gives an example and becomes quiet. Now it is your job to dig out all those meanings out. Again, a Garbhini has to sacrifice all her likes and dislikes for the child. She loves so many things, but you are not supposed to eat this, you are not supposed to eat that, you are not supposed to sit down like this, you are not supposed to lie down like that. There is a sacrifice. Every time she thinks of the child, oh, if this affects my child, then though I like it, I will not do it. There is a sacrifice. So in the same way, yogi also. There are so many things which he likes, which he dislikes, but his question is, if this pleases God, then I will do it, even though I may not like it. If this displeases God, then I will not do it, even though I love it. So there is a sacrifice. You see. In this way, we must do our sadhana. Then what will happen? Definitely the child will grow. Definitely our spiritual samskaras will grow. We will spiritually evolve. And then a time comes when the unseen child becomes a seen child, isn't it? In the same way. You can clearly see that which is unseen. The presence of God, whom we say cannot be seen, you can clearly experience it. The unseen becomes the seen. The unperceivable becomes the perceived. So when Vivekananda asked Ramakrishna Paramsa, have you seen God? So what did Ramakrishna say? I think there is God. No. What did he say? I am seeing God much more clear than I am seeing you. You see? Right. In very no uncertain terms. Very clearly was the answer given. Yes. So, a yogi must be like a Garbhini. Now, another example is also given. Like a Agnihotri. A yogi should protect his spiritual evolution like a Agnihotri. You know Agnihotri? Agnihotri is a person who worships fire. So therefore, all time at his home, there is this fire burning. In a, in a homa kunda, the fire is there. It is called a sacrificial fire or sacred fire. That fire is always there. So just like this consciousness is worshipful for a yogi, the fire is worshipful for a Agnihotri. So it is into that fire that he offers havis. And it is believed that it is this fire which takes all the offering to the corresponding devatas. So this is the understanding. The fire should not be put off. It should always be there. It's your responsibility to see the fire glowing. So such a person is called Agnihotri, a person who does this ritual. Agnihotri. So see the comparison now. Now see the terms used here. Aranyor nihitah jatavedaha. Jatavedaha means fire. Where is this fire present? Nihitah. Where is it present? Aranyoho. In Arani. Now see, there is a way in which you create this fire also. You can't just use a matchbox to create the fire. There is an auspicious way. And that auspicious way is Arani Mathanam. So there is a wooden cup, there is a wooden stick, and that stick you churn, so that wooden stick rubs with the wooden cup, and in that friction, sparks are generated, and they put some, darbha grass or dried some grass, etc. And this spark, they catch fire. And that fire alone has to be used for all this sacrificial purpose, etc. Right. So even the production of fire is divine. Aranyor nihita. In the same way, the birth of this spiritual knowledge is also divine. Everything you have to compare. So in Kaivalya Upanishad it is said, Atmanam aranim krutva pranavam chottararanim jnana nirmathanabhyasat pasham dahati panditah. This arani mathanam is used as an example. Atmanam aranim krutva. So that lower arani, that vessel, that container, it is Atma. It is one's own mind. Pranavam chottararanim. What is that Uttara Arani? Uttara Arani is that stick. The upper Arani. The lower Arani, upper Arani. What is that upper Arani? Pranava. Omkara is the upper Arani. So the entire teaching of the Vedas, they boil down to Omkara. And what is this Omkara? It is nothing but pure consciousness. So now the student has heard about this knowledge from his teacher. Now what is he doing? Jnana nirmathana abhyasam is what he is doing. Mathanam means mananam. Shravanam has happened. He has heard this knowledge from the Guru. Now he is doing mananam. So in that mananam, a friction comes. What is the friction? The present erroneous knowledge rubs against the received correct knowledge. So there is a friction there. I thought I am the body, but Guru is saying I am not the body. How can it be? This is called as doubt. So then what happens? Mathanam has to be done. My understanding is going against the understanding of the scriptures. This is where Shraddha comes into picture. If the scriptures have said it, it must be right. If the Guru has said it, it must be right. I must not trust my experience. I must trust the words of the teacher. This becomes the basis of mananam. Whatever comes from the scripture is right. Now let me see how it is right and how I am wrong. You see? So then there is a friction. There is intense churning. And in that churning, what happens? Slowly, 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 there is clarity. Oh, now I understand where I am wrong and where the scripture is right. So that knowledge is born now. The information becomes conviction, a doubtless knowledge. Slowly, this becomes a birth of knowledge. Understanding is becoming clear. This is called as jnana tapas. I am training myself in thinking in the right direction. So there is a fire, the fire of knowledge. So that is what is compared with arani here. So in the generation of fire, it's a divine process. Just like the generation of this knowledge is also a divine process. How do I gain this knowledge? Tad vidhi pranipatena pariprasnena sevaya upadekshyanti tajnanam jnaninas tattvadarshina. Go to the teacher, fall at his feet, serve him, ask the relevant questions, and he will give you the knowledge. So it's a divine process. So just like this fire is generated in a divine process, in sacrificial pit, in the same way, knowledge is also generated. So, aranyur nihita. And then, dive dive idyaha. Idyaha means pujaniyaha, worshipful. So just like for an Agnihotri, this fire is worshipful. In the same way, for this yogi, this light of consciousness is worshipful. Because he has understood the glory of this consciousness. Through the study of the scriptures, he has understood what this consciousness is. So therefore, it is worshipful. Idya. Jagruvadbhihi. Now, this fire, that Agnihotri has to be very alert that this fire is always glowing. You have to be alert. So whatever he is doing, one part of the mind again, it is always there. Is the fire glowing? Did I put enough, samit, havis, etc.? That is always there in his mind. So just like that, this yogi also has to be always alert. Am I getting carried away by the external things of the world? Am I forgetting God? Remember, forgetfulness of God, if you practice consistently, will become natural to you. Remembrance of God, if you practice consistently, will become natural to you. Remembrance or forgetfulness, whatever you practice, it becomes natural. So the yogi is also thinking, in this, thick of marketplace, in this worldly hustle and bustle, am I forgetting? Jagruvadbhi, you have to be alert, vigilant. Subhrataha, well protected. As I told you, the yogi has to protect. This fire also has to be protected. Dive dive. Dive dive means every day. The worship has to be done every day. Sadhana has to be done every day. Every day means what? Be regular. Be consistent. Dive dive. Havishmadbhihi. So now how will this fire be kept alive? You have to offer havis. So this person has to be full of havis. He must have enough stock. So what is the havis necessary here as far as a yogi is concerned? So Bhagavan Shankaracharya says, Dhyana bhavanavadbhi. As far as a yogi is concerned, the havis is dhyana and bhavana. Bhavana means the noble thoughts. So all the learnings which we have gained from the scriptures, these learnings must again and again be invoked to replace the worldly thought with spiritual thought. That is bhavana. Because of our past habits, mind will be filled with worldly thoughts. So these worldly thoughts should be substituted with spiritual thoughts. Where do you get spiritual thoughts from? The study of the scriptures. And these spiritual thoughts must be utilized for dhyana. Dhyana bhavanavadbihi. So first it appears as a spiritual thought. The spiritual thought has replaced the worldly thought. Now with that spiritual thought, what do? Let it not remain as a mere thought. Then it will be a mechanical repetition of a mantra. That is not what is needed. That spiritual thought must take you to your center. It must take you to the pure consciousness within. That is the culmination of spiritual thought. Spiritual thought culminates in making us abide in the self. That is called as dhyana. And this is the havis. Havishmatbihi manushyebihi agnihi. Right, you see the comparison now? What a beautiful thing. So just like Agnihotri generates fire, protects fire, considers that fire worshipful, always pays attention to that burning of the fire. In the same way, a sadhaka must protect his spiritual fire, never allowing it to get put off by ignoring it. This way he must live an alert, vigilant life. Then everything is fine. Now again, the glory of that consciousness is mentioned in the next verse. Verse number 9. Yataschodeti suryaha astam yatra cha gacchati tam deva sarve arpitaha tadunatyeti kaschana etat vaitat yataschodeti suryaha astam yatra cha gacchati tam deva sarve arpitaha tadunatyeti kaschana etat vaitat. So this is the glory of that Lord. Now the beauty of this verse is, at three different levels, it will give three different meanings. At Adhyatmika level, it gives one meaning. Adi Bhautika level, it gives another meaning. Adi Daivika level, it gives another meaning. And all the levels are equally applicable. Yataha Suryaha Udeti. That from where the sun rises. Yatra Suryaha Astam Gacchati. That where the sun sets. So from where does the sun rise? We say east. No, that is not the meaning here. That from where the sun rises, that unto which the sun sets. Sarve devaha tam arpitaha. All the devatas, they have surrendered to that entity, dedicated to that entity, arpitaha. Obey that entity, depend on that entity. Kaschana tatna atyeti. No one dares to disobey that entity. Atyeti, transcend. Nobody dares to transcend him. Now, what is the meaning? Now, we will first see the Adhyatmika level, subjective level. Adhyatmika, Adibhautika, Adidevika. At all three levels you have to see. So, Adhyatmika level, what is the meaning? That from where the sun rises. Now, sunrise is always equated with waking state. So, that from where the waking state rises, sunset is always connected with dream and deep sleep. So, that from where the dream and deep sleep states rise. So, what is that then? It is nothing but consciousness. Sarve devaha tam arpitaha. All the devatas, they depend on that consciousness. Now, what is devata meaning here? So, whenever we talk of Adhyatmika level, devatas means sense organs. Dyotanat devaha. That which illumines is deva. This is the definition. So, what do the sense organs do? They illumine to us the world of Shabda Sparsha Rupa Rasa Gandha. So all the devatas are dedicated to him, surrendered unto him. Meaning what? It is this consciousness which is enlivening all our sense organs. They are alive because of consciousness. They are sentient because of consciousness. They are able to function because of consciousness. So therefore, sense organs depend on consciousness for their existence. This is the meaning. Sarve devaha tam arpita. Kaschana tatna atyeti. Taduna atyeti kaschana. No one dares to disobey consciousness. Because it is consciousness which is giving life to everything. So this is at the Adhyatmika level. Now comes the next level. What is the next level? Adhibhautika. So here, then the meaning will be Saguna Brahman. That from where the sun rises, it is not the rising sun, it is the sun which is taking birth. So that because of whom the sun has come into existence. Who has created the sun? It is the Lord. Sun is born from him, sun dissolves in him. So that Lord is the creator. Not only the sun, tam deva sarve arpitaha, everything in this cosmos. All the devatas, the natural forces, the moon, the water, everything. So in the, in our scriptures, devatas means natural forces. So sun, moon, fire. So there is a statement in Kathopanishad itself. Bhayat asyagnis tapati, bhayat tapati surya, bhayat indrascha vayuscha, mrityur dhavati panchamaha. There is a mantra. Out of his fear, the sun is glowing. Out of his fear, the fire is burning. Means what? He is the Lord. Tam deva sarve arpita means all these forces of nature, they are dedicated to him. They find their existence in him, dependent on him. There is a Lord. Tadunatyeti kaschana. No one dares to disobey. So there is a Lord for this cosmos, and that is why everything is functioning so beautifully well. You will find that there was never a time when sun has forgotten to rise or set. There was never a time when sun has gone astray from its path. Why? Because there is a Lord. So this is from the Adi Bhautika standpoint. Then Adi Devika standpoint. What is Adi Devika? So there we assume that all these devatas are sentient entities. That is Adi Devika. So Surya Devata, there is a Jivatma there who is in charge. So just like I identify this with this combination of 5 elements called body and say, this is me. Consciousness identifying with this inert assembly of matter, I call it me. In the same way, if this is possible here, why can't it be possible there? Consciousness identified with that orb is called Surya Devata. Why there should be an objection? Just like I am Jivatma identified with this mass of inert matter, why can't there be another identification of consciousness with another mass of inert matter? So that entity we call Surya Devata. There is a Jivatma there. And what is his job? He is an officer. He has certain portfolio. So all the laws governing to sun, he will look after. So that is called as Adhisthana Devata. We use this term, presiding deity. So who is the Adhisthana Devata of eyes? So in Tattva Bodha we study it is Surya Devata. So what is his job? His job is to see which Jivatma should be given eyes. How much power should be given? See, each one of us, though we all have eyes, the power is different. Abilities are different. In different animals, birds, etc. also the ability is different. Who decides? There has to be a deciding officer. There has to be a department. A presiding officer. So then we say the presiding officer is Surya Devata. It's a post. Somebody is in charge. So when we start speaking in this language, then it is called as Adi Daivika. So the Surya Devata is able to function. Who is giving that power for the Surya Devata to function this way? There is a Lord. And not only Surya Devata, Tam Devaha Sarve Arpita. All the Devatas, they don't have any independent power. All the power comes from this pure consciousness. He is the one who is enlivening them, empowering everyone. Just like we find that power in ourselves. The ability to move, the ability to live, the ability to express talents, it is not ours. It is coming from that consciousness only. In the same way, all the Devatas, Tadunatyeti Kaschana. Nobody dares to disobey him. Meaning, he is in all control. What is the benefit of having this knowledge? The benefit of having this knowledge is, even when you see superficially in the world corruption and all kinds of atrocities happening, your mind is at peace. This is the proof that this knowledge has been assimilated. It is a practical tip. Never complain about anything happening in this world. Superficially it may appear that it is injustice. But is injustice possible in such a world which is completely controlled by the Lord? Even a dust particle cannot move here and there without his command. How can injustice happen in such a world? You see, how can partiality happen in such a world? Impossible. So whatever is happening in this world is perfect. You can't improve this world. Because an omniscient, omnipresent, omnipotent Lord is taking care of this world. So let us not dare even to think that I, with my ability, will improve this world. Tadunatyeti kaschana. You see? See the practical benefit of having total faith even in this statement. Your mind is at peace. If there is a situation which I can improve, fine. I have been put in that situation by that Lord. So therefore it is my responsibility to improve. So He gives me the ability to improve. And He puts me in front of that situation. And He creates a thought in me to improve the situation. So He is the one who is inspiring. He is the one who is empowering. He is the one who is bringing the situation and that person together. So what is my role? Zero. I am only an instrument. This way we have to analyze all situations in life. Then there is peace. Right. Now Bhagavan says, verse number 10. Yadeveha tadamutra yadamutra tadanviha mrityo samrityumapnoti ya iha naneva pashyati yadeveha tadamutra yadamutra tadanviha mrityo samrityum apnoti ya iha naneva pashyati. Yes. So why this Lord is glorified in the previous verse? The purpose is that very same Lord is the Lord seated in my heart as pure consciousness. There is no difference at all. The water in the bubble is the very same water in the wave, is the very same water in the ocean. There is no difference at all. So what is said here? Yat iha tat eva amutra. What is here? The very same entity is there. There means what? In that Lord. In that Paramatma. What is there in Jivatma itself is there in Paramatma. Yat amutra, what is there in that Paramatma, tat anu iha. The very same is here also. So what is this called? What is this statement called? This statement is called Mahavakya. So the Mahavakya of Kathopanishad is this. What is here is there. What is there is here. Means what? Tat equal to Tvam. Tat Tvamasi. Aham Brahmasmi. Very clearly it is equated. Jivatma equal to Paramatma. There is absolutely no difference. But if you see a difference, yahiha nana iva pashyati, the person who says, no, this cannot be that cannot be this, mrityo samrityum apnoti. He will go from death to death. He will be reborn again and again because his understanding is faulty. As long as our understanding is faulty, come back to this world. This is a university. You are a failed student. A failed student should sit in the same class. Mrityo samrityum apnoti. Come back. Your knowledge is not perfect. Your knowledge is perfect only when you say, Aham Brahma Asmi. Right. More of it we will see tomorrow. Om Namo Narayanaya. 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 ഓം സർവേ ഭവന്തു സുഖിനഃ സർവേ സന്തു നിരാമയാഃ സർവേ ഭദ്രാണി പശ്യന്തു മാ കശ്ചിത് ദുഃഖഭാഗ് ഭവേത്. അസതോ മാ സദ്ഗമയ തമസോ മാ ജ്യോതിർഗമയ മൃത്യോർമാ അമൃതം ഗമയ. ഓം ശാന്തി ശാന്തി ശാന്തി. ഹരി ഓം. ശ്രീ ഗുരുഭ്യോ നമഃ. ഹരി ഓം.